Yo, what is going on today, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Today, we're talking a little bit about this weekend's alpha surprise week 3 test. It was actually not even supposed to go live. They were going to shut it down because they're having really bad issues. Fortunately, like an hour before that they were calling it good, they figure out like a solution to it and they ended up going live with it. And by golly, am I glad that they did go live with it, because this was a great weekend for SMITE 2. This gives me like hope, kind of. There is a lot to be desired here, a lot that we want, but there is also a lot that they've shown already that I really do like, and I like the spot that they're in right now. The biggest thing I want to talk about before getting in is Schism, the head of Hi-Res, tweeted, "The primary focus of the SMITE 2 team right now is preparing the game for a 24/7 alpha in late August." So they have pushed it from the end of July to the end of August. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. I'd rather have them provide a good game that you can put 24/7 time into than a rushed game where they felt like they had to kind of push it out there as quick as possible because they previously promised July or late July. Does it feel great? I mean, obviously you're going to want to play the game as quick as possible, but for a lot of people who played it, at least in Alpha Weekend 2, you recognize the game has a lot still to grow in. But this last weekend, let's just talk about it, because this was such an exciting weekend. Outright, the game feels better. It's not even close. The characters feel very responsive. There was a slight clunkiness in previous weekends to these characters, and Hecate feels good. Thana feels very nice. Is it a big thing, like a sweeping thing across the game, that they all feel better? Yes, it absolutely is. A lot of combo characters like on her have just felt better during this weekend, which is what we wanted to see. Morgan, the third character added this weekend, definitely buggy. What? But is that the end of the world? Absolutely not. This is a character that's had many bugs in SMITE 1. Ones that have gotten her kicked out of competitive tournaments, that have it removed from the game. There is a very clear focus on wanting this character to be in the game early to make sure she's not as buggy as she, you know, could be later into the game. Because if you get her out now, you get a lot of those early bugs cleared out. It just makes those later ones not as bad. So Morgan, did she feel good? Not really. I didn't end up playing her because I got a bunch of people telling me don't even try her, she's so buggy. Did I try her? No. Did I care to try her? I mean, not really. The old characters that are added in are going to feel mostly the same. You want to just get a quick feeling of how they are. So I'm not too worried about Morgan. Hopefully next weekend she'll be a little bit less buggy. Back to Thana though quickly. Feels very good. I think he's probably a little too strong. No Aegis in the game. The health he loses when he uses abilities is not that detrimental. Maybe it's just not as much anti-heal is being built. Maybe people aren't really knowing what anti-heal is yet and aren't really getting used to building it. So that could be it also, but he does feel a little strong. Loved the introduction of Hecate. I think her passive 1, 3, 4 are all awesome abilities. Do I love the 2? Not really. It's a strange ability to use in most cases because, one, you have to kind of charge it up. So if you need some quick abilities out to give yourself survivability or peel or something like that, like if you need your Mez on the 1 or your 3's shield, you don't really have time to get the 2 out. There is some times where you can get the 2, but again, just through playing her, the 2 is the one that felt not great, but the ult felt phenomenal. I loved how her ult felt. I am a big fan of how she feels everywhere else. Just not sold on the 2 yet, but who knows, maybe in a couple more games, I'll grow to love the 2. Now, the game as a whole, I love the changes, the big sweeping changes that they made going into this patch. Reducing DR across the board. It used to scale up to 80%. It is now scaling up only to 40%. But with that, it also only lasts 6 seconds instead of 15 seconds. So DR used to go up to 80% at 15 seconds. So if you got dash taunted by Athena and dash taunt comes up in 14 seconds, that dash taunt is doing 80% less if you got all stacks of DR. Now, it is actually something that just kind of stop you from getting comboed, which I think is perfect. Like if you get jumped on her tude, taunted, and you just keep getting hit by CC'd, yeah, that makes sense to have that DR there. But it really does not make any sense to have 2 different engagements and your DR reduction is still up. To pair with DR being reduced, CC is also being reduced. I think it was 20 or 30% across the board. Literally every character got hit. So it's a sweeping change on both sides, less DR, less CC, because with the addition of those things also, They are adding in a combat blink as an active in the early game, and you can choose that over beads. So if they have a low CC comp, right now the only one that I really think is a beads need is Fenrir, because if he does jump stun you, he picks you up immediately and then you're just dead. Like, at least with Anubis, most of the time you can ult his wrap, get that CC immunity there. You don't really have that with Fenrir. It's just like, he's going to be looking to gank you. Maybe if it's an Anubis jungle, he's going to be looking to gank you, and you need beads also. But I think the combat blink is a massive positive. We've already seen a really cool clip. I'll show you guys here. Genex looking for the ult, starts charging it, and then gets the blink off. The animation is still bugged.
There you go.
But
there you go. Finally. I finally did it.
He was so excited. He was trying it this entire game. The animation is still a little bugged, which is fine. Eventually, they'll fix it. But plays like that are what makes Smite fun. And most of all, you want your game to be fun. There is counterplay for sure, but it is like if I do this, it's going to feel really good. If I get hit by this, it's not going to feel like I didn't do anything wrong or right or anything. It's going to be I got outplayed, which I think is awesome. Also added into the patches, they are talking about adding more actives. Don't know if I love that. A little 50-50 so far. Let's see what they're adding, but I think having just 2 base actives would be awesome. And then just choosing one of them, maybe like a 3rd or 4th if they're planning like Aegis, I guess. I don't know. We'll wait and see. I'll let Hi-Rez cook, right? We'll let them cook. Do you guys have any ideas kind of for what they would do with actives outside of Aegis? Maybe they'll just bring back almost all the relic choices. If there is one that they bring back, is there anyone that you guys personally want to see brought back? Whether you're a big fan of Horrific or you're a big fan of Sprint, whatever it is, let me know, because I'm curious. There's none that I really want, but I would get it if some people wanted them. On top of adding more actives, they're talking about adding passive choices at the beginning of games. And it's not XP or gold or anything like that. It seems like it's just going to be a little buff to your character, whether it's like 10% extra auto damage, or every level you get extra 2 power or something like, or intelligence or something like that. I don't know what it is exactly that they're adding, but they said it's specifically not going to be XP gold, which makes me think it's going to be some sort of stat. A little indifferent towards that. I think there is room for growth in that area, but just flat out passives I don't love. But again, we'll let them cook. My last thing to do with this weekend is the item depth is still just meh. It's fine. It's passable. It's good enough for now. But I do hope that they have more ideas for items that they want. They can be cool, they can be interesting, whatever they are. There's a couple new items. There's Circe's Hexstone, which is you are polymorphed and begin a short charge forwards, damaging enemies hit for 50 physical damage. Hitting a god ends the charge, knocking them up and dealing 10% of their current health as bonus physical damage. While polymorphed, you gain CC immunity and 60 protections, which is... this is kind of cool. Like, imagine Athena's charging up a dash taunt, and instead you proc this, becoming CC immune, getting some protections, and then you also stun her, knock her up, and do % of her health. This is a cool outplay relic, or outplay active that they've added, which I really like. And then Atalanta's bow is getting reworked into Haste and Fatalis, which is... this is not true Haste and Fatalis, which is probably good. I think that's probably unhealthy for the game, but... this is a solid idea. When you hit an enemy god with a basic attack, you gain 25% reduced basic attack movement speed penalty for 2 seconds. Stacks up to 2 times. So instead of getting your auto attack reduction by, like, I think it's 80% or something like that, it'll only be 40% after 2 autos, which is a cool thing to play around. Now if they just add more of those, it's going to be a great 24/7 August for us. I'm very, very excited. Let me know what you guys think about the Alpha Weekend 3. I'm very curious because I had a great time. Tomorrow we'll even have a video for support in Smite 2 because I'm really excited to play that. I really like playing support in Smite 1 again, and I'm going to be excited playing it in Smite 2 again. But I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you guys again next time. Peace.